and welcome to another episode of Shaman's Guitars. What we have here is almost a double review because we have this lovely Fender 70s Strat, absolute factory condition. Well, when I say 70s, I mean 70s reissue. It's upside down, but it says made in Mexico on there in X1, which is 2011. Excuse me. But we also have fitted to this particular guitar a set of Gilmour EMG single coil active pickups, hence the me murdering a little bit of Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 solo. And these pickups are what Dave Gilmour uses, according to EMG, and I have no reason to doubt them. So you would expect them to give his tone, and I'm not going to comment on whether it is or not. It sounds pretty close, but I'm no expert on Gilmour. But it sounds to me like Gilmour when you play these. But then again, to me, Gilmour just sounds like a Strat anyway, so hey, what do I know? We've also got this running through a 1977 Deluxe Electric Mistress Flanger Filter Matrix. Woo! We've got an Ibanez Overdrive, which is a bit sort of like a muffy type of thing, and the Keeley Caverns delay and reverb. So I'll give you a flavour of what the pickups sound like clean, and I'll probably turn off the flanger and the delay, just a bit of reverb. These two. Middle. I always think middle's underrated on a Strat. Bit of modulation on the reverb. Okay, position 2. Things 2. Bridge. There you are. Think whatever you think. I think they're a little bit bright. Perhaps because I'm used to using this curly cable here. And passive pickups losing a lot of top end. I have turned the tone down on the amp. It would go lower, so as with any pickups, you set your amp according to what you think it needs for the pickups that you're using. But they are pretty bright. But there may just be a consequence of them being active. But then they're loud as well. There's a lot of output going on here now. I had this amp set for a fairly clean before. Let's just turn off the reverb. So we'll just give it a blast full on the guitar. Actually, they sound clean there, to be fair. Turn the modulation off. They do sound fairly clean. They seem so somehow they're clean and loud, because normally with standard pickups through this Palmer Dry, you get the onset of distortion or overdrive quite quickly. So I have to be fair, it doesn't seem to be overdriving any more quickly. It just seems clearer Oh, they're toppy though. Now they do have, there are some complicated things going on with the tone. I think if so I'll turn the tone. So that's more MIDI. So there is an active tone on this one here. I want to put this one down. That seems to be more of a bass type of. And both the tones down. So for bears of little brain like me, I actually have no idea what that's doing. I could have read the manual, I suppose. But anyway, I just like to twiddle the knobs and see what happens, and if I like the sound, I like the sound. I probably want them both tones on about half. That to me sounds better, it's not as toppy. So I presume the difference is with these tone controls that it's a bit like a treble control in a way, not like a normal tone where on full is just flat and then you turn it down and it just goes down in terms of the treble. With these ones, I think middle is flat and up high is adding treble and down low is cutting treble. So in the middle is normal for these, which is confusing if you're thick like me. But it sounds better now they're on half. Let's give it a little bit more stuff. Too much modulation there. Okay, so that's the pickups. These pickups will set you back 250 quid, so you really have to like Gilmour to want to buy them. But the other thing I should mention is they are supposed to be, now I haven't tried this before, so I don't know what's going to happen. This obviously, but active pickups are supposed to be hum cancelling, so I'm just going to put it on the single bridge pickup. So this is on. Turn off that. Okay. You can hear just a tiny variation in hum, but that's right up against the speaker, and that would normally be humming like mad if it was a normal single coil. So that's pretty good. So I presume that EMGs become more useful, and active pickups in general, or noiseless pickups in general, become more useful if you are playing live in big stadia and where you really want to have guaranteed noiseless performance from your single coil pickups. Not just like me in my music room where it doesn't really matter if you get a little bit of hum, or if you're recording, you generally can deal with noise from the pickups. You can just use a noise gate on the track or whatever. But when you're playing, if you imagine your single coils being amplified through a 10,000 watt or 10 million watt sound system, you want to be guaranteed they're not going to start humming because someone's just turned on their Wi-Fi hotspot or whatever. Yeah, they are pretty cool. They are pretty cool. I did have my reservations at first, but there is something sort of Gilmour-y about them. That sort of very, very clear bell-like tone, especially through this Electric Mistress. Cool. Okay, let's move on and talk about the guitar. So these, as I say, it's a classic 70s Strat. They do come in black, I think. This is the second one I've had of these, actually. in natural, and I really like the natural colour. It's very, very shiny. This one's totally immaculate. There is a tiny, I think there's been a sticker on there or something. There's a bit of stickiness I need to get off there. But otherwise, it's fantastic. Beautiful bit of wood, this. You can see the classic 70s 3-bolt neck with the micro tilt adjust. It says it on there. The other giveaway is the massive 70s headstock, which I used to really love. Then I kind of went off it a bit. Now I think I really think it's cool again. Skunk stripe on the neck. Quite small frets, although these are actually similar. I've just done a video on the 93 Mexican Strat, and these frets are about the same, maybe a little bit taller actually, just because they're a bit newer. And yeah, solid as a rock, pristine. If you like, you either like the look of the natural or you don't. I happen to think it's really cool. It's very kind of glossy, and I say the big headstock with the big logo on there as well. I don't know if the bridge is any different to the normal Mexican ones. Obviously it's 6 bolt or 6 screw, as it were. And yeah, so really cool to play. I mean, so we could do a little bit of kind of funk. Let's turn off the delay and the reverb, leave the reverb on. So you could do... So you could really go to town on the old funkiness. Try it on the other intermediate position. Yeah, cool. So if you're into that kind of thing, this is the guitar for you. It really does look the part. You could also probably put on a Stetson and do some kind of country rock with this as well, because I think, especially with this pearloid scratch plate, I think it looks just the part for kind of country rock as well. And not quite. I think this is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a vintage radius. Well, it's very curvy, more curvy than the Mexican one. If I could be bothered, I would get out a compass, make some radii and check it, but I think it does seem quite curvy, and sometimes the bends are kind of fretting out slightly as we get to that sort of high-end bends. Only on the top string actually, and it is quite low, so maybe just an adjustment there would do. So cool, yeah, this is really nice, and the Gilmour pickups give it a nice kind of interesting twist as well. Not my favourite pickups in the world. I'm not sure. I'm a bit of a Luddite when it comes to putting batteries in guitars. I know, people say, oh, well, it lasts ages, but batteries do last ages in things like this. But then they run out eventually, and because they last ages, you always forget that there's a battery in them, and all of a sudden your guitar stops working. Now, I don't know, there may well be a passive option as well. I just don't know. I'm not an expert. If you want to look up the manual or whatnot, then feel free to do so. But even so, even if there is a passive option, if your battery runs out, it's not going to sound the same, is it? So, yeah, I think I would probably not be your ideal customer for these things. But if you're in a Pink Floyd tribute band, I mean, Gilmour must have one of the highest number of sort of fanboys in the guitar world. Surely that he must be up there with Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan for the amount of people who just want to sound like Gilmour. So these little pickups here must be right up their street. So, and I think that for somehow the guitar, even though Gilmour isn't known for playing a guitar that looks like this, I think it kind of works quite well in a guitar like this. Somehow, I mean, certainly the pearloid scratch plate looks fantastic. So there you have it, Gilmour EMG set in a Fender 70s Strat. 70s reissue Strat, I should say, Mexican. Right, so we're going to go over the full beans to play us out. Here we go.